Hi, today we're going to talk about the snap to command. It's something that can be very useful. It also can be kind of annoying, and I'll explain that, why I think that. And we will talk about times when you should use it and other times when you shouldn't. Maybe you're already somewhat familiar with the snap to command if you're new to CorelDraw. Um, You may have even tried to use it and realized that it's a little more difficult than you thought. Snap to is under here, View at the top. And I don't know what it's doing under View. I would have put it under Edit, I guess, but maybe not. Anyway, it's under View. And let's open it up. Now there's different choices for Snap to. This top one, Snap to Pixels, I have to admit I don't know what that does. I've tried it with bitmaps before and it's always grayed out. So if somebody knows what that is, let me know. Snap to document grid. We're not using a grid. We're not using a baseline grid. Snap to guidelines. Let's try that. A guideline. Snap to guidelines enables a shape to be snapped to a guideline. Now, for that to work, we also have to have snap to objects enabled. And now we can see the edges and the nodes here. And you may have tried this before. I have snap to guidelines and snap to objects enabled. So why doesn't it do anything? It doesn't seem to be working. Okay, the reason for that is you have to tell it what, or it has to know what you want to snap. So we can snap right here. I don't know if you can read these tiny little prompts, but it's edge, midpoint right here, node, and it'll be different on each shape. Edge, edge, edge is for a circle. There's no node. So when you grab the edge right there will snap to the guideline. What if I rotate this and I want that corner to snap to the guideline? I'm going to go node to grab it, carry it up here. Oops, I'm still in rotate, sorry. I'm going to go node, drag it up, and ding, it'll snap right to my guideline. Now we'll go back into rotate, see what we might do with this. Here's my fulcrum in the center, which is the rotating point. I can move that wherever I want. And in this case, since I have snap to enabled, I'm going to move it right to that node. Now I can rotate my square by grabbing the edge, and I'm still in rotate. Rotate it right up till it snaps to the line. Okay, so there's a few ways you can use snap to guidelines. You can probably come up with some reasons for and against it. Once again, against is if you're just using the guideline to line something up and you don't really want it to snap to anything, you want to shut it off. Now, snap to guidelines you can shut off once again. I'm going to do that here. Snap to objects you can turn on and off with a keyboard shortcut, which is Alt-Z. So see, now I have snap to. I'll click Alt-Z and it's off. That's the same thing as going back up to View and turning it off. But Alt-Z allows you to do it on the fly. So a lot of times you'll be drawing and okay, now I want to snap this to there. Once I'm done with that, I want to turn it off. So Alt-Z is a good way to just keep turning it on and off. It's on now. So I can snap the square to the circle. I can snap that node of the star to the circle. I can snap the node of the star to the node of the square. And I can even snap the fulcrum, the rotation fulcrum, to that same node. And then my star will rotate around that fulcrum. So these two nodes over here are exactly aligned. The other snap to point which I didn't mention is right in the center snap to, which is always going to be in the center of a object, right in the center. So each one of these has a center point. So if I move the center of the star, it can find the center of, where is it, right there. It can find the center of this ellipse, and it also works the same with the nodes, so I can put this node right in the center of the ellipse. And remember, my fulcrum is still on that node, so I can rotate my star right around the center. There are a million different uses for snap to, and there are just as many reasons to turn it off. Let's say I'm actually trying to make the star like this instead of right touching the center, but every time I do that, it wants to grab it out of my hand and move it. So that's when I'd hit Alt-Z. That shuts off snap to, and I'll move the one shape around as much as I want without it snapping to anything else. So that's a quick synopsis of when to use snap to and when to turn it off and how to turn it off. Alt-Z will always turn it off and back on. Now that you know all that, I think you're going to find yourself using snap to, turning it on and off all the time when you're doing a layout. It really comes in handy, and there's a million things you can do with it. So just experiment with that now that you know how the command works. And I hope your next project goes well.